It was a cold, quiet morning when something unexpected happened that would change a young boy's life forever. Alone and barely surviving on the streets, 12-year-old Sam had no one to call family. He'd been living in an abandoned building on the edge of town, collecting scraps, doing odd jobs, and doing his best to stay out of trouble. Life had been unfair to him since the day he lost his parents. He had no help, no support, and no reason to believe things would get better. But fate had other plans. While searching through a dumpster behind a grocery store, Sam heard a soft, strange sound. At first, he thought it was a kitten, but as he moved closer, what he saw made his heart freeze. A tiny baby, wrapped in a thin blanket, left all alone. The baby was shivering and crying quietly. Sam looked around, expecting someone to rush out and claim the child, but no one came. The street was empty. The baby had truly been abandoned. In that moment, something changed in Sam. Despite having nothing, he knew he couldn't leave the baby behind. He picked the baby up carefully, holding it close to his chest to keep it warm. He didn't know how he'd manage or where they would go next, but he couldn't walk away. He had been abandoned once. He wouldn't let it happen to someone else. From that moment on, Sam's life took a turn no one could have predicted. How can a boy who has nothing raise a baby? How far will he go to protect a child he just met? What happens next will leave you silent, because what Sam did in the days that followed will truly test the limits of love, sacrifice, and human strength. Sam didn't sleep that night. He sat on the floor of the dusty old room he called home, holding the baby in his arms, watching its tiny chest rise and fall. The baby was no more than a few weeks old, fragile and helpless. Sam had no idea what he was doing, but he knew one thing: he couldn't let anything happen to this child. He searched through the old boxes he had stored over time and found a half-torn towel. That would have to do for a blanket. He shared the last piece of bread he had, soaking it in warm water and feeding the baby with his fingers. It wasn't much, but it was all he had. Morning came with more questions than answers. Where did the baby come from? Who would leave a newborn like that? Sam didn't even know the baby's name, so he decided to call him Noah. It felt right, simple, gentle, and strong. But deep inside, Sam was scared. He knew that raising a baby in the streets wasn't just hard, it was dangerous. What if someone found out and took the baby away? What if he couldn't find enough food or clean clothes? And what if someone had left Noah there on purpose, for a reason Sam didn't yet understand? Sam started going out earlier than usual, picking up odd jobs just to get a little money for milk. He even went through trash bins outside bakeries, hoping to find something clean enough for Noah to eat later. He avoided people, avoided questions. If anyone saw the baby, they might ask where he got it. And Sam didn't have an answer, not yet. But what he didn't know was that someone had already noticed. Someone was watching, and they weren't just curious, they were waiting. Days turned into weeks, and Sam was doing everything he could to keep Noah safe. He had found a small, unused storage shed behind an old auto repair shop where no one came anymore. It wasn't much, but it kept the wind out and gave them a little bit of privacy. Sam lined the floor with cardboard and old clothes he had gathered. He even managed to find a small stuffed toy in a trash bin, which Noah seemed to like. But as Noah grew, so did the problems. Sam started noticing people looking at him differently. A shopkeeper once asked why he was carrying a bundle all the time. Another woman at the park stared a little too long. Sam kept walking, pretending not to notice. But his heart raced every time someone asked a question. He knew they could never understand. They'd report him. They'd take Noah away. The fear of losing the only person he had in this world kept him up at night. Meanwhile, across town, a woman named Lena had been putting up flyers. Her sister had gone missing 3 weeks ago after giving birth under difficult circumstances. No one had seen her since. And the baby? Gone too. Lena didn't know if she was looking for a child, a body, or just closure. All she knew was something wasn't right, and something kept pulling her toward the edge of town, where people didn't talk much and the shadows ran deep. Sam had no idea that the baby he found might be connected to a bigger story. He didn't know that the past he thought was behind him was about to catch up. And as he tried harder to protect Noel, the world outside was slowly closing in, watching, waiting, and ready to act. The days were getting colder, and Sam knew he couldn't keep doing this much longer. Noel had started coughing, and it wasn't the kind of cough that would go away on its own. Sam wrapped him tighter, tried to keep him warm, but deep down, panic was setting in. He needed help, but where could he go? Every door felt closed. Every person felt like a threat. He had no papers, no family, no one to vouch for him. And the fear of someone taking Noah away haunted him every second. One evening, as the sky turned grey and rain started to fall, Sam stood in front of the local pharmacy, trying to decide whether to go in. He didn't have enough money for medicine, but he was desperate. He stepped inside, holding Noel close, trying to stay calm. The pharmacist glanced over, eyes lingering a moment too long. "Is that your baby?" the man asked casually. Sam nodded without saying a word and quickly walked out, heart pounding. He didn't look back. But it was already too late. By that night, a photo had started spreading online. A blurry shot of Sam holding Noah outside the pharmacy. A concerned customer had posted it, asking if anyone recognized the boy or the baby. The caption read, "Asterisk, this doesn't look right. Should we be worried? Asterisk." Somewhere across town, Lena saw the photo. Her heart nearly stopped. The blanket, the toy, something about the baby felt familiar. Could it really be him? Back in the shed, Sam rocked Noah in his arms, unaware of what was happening outside, but he felt something was wrong. For the first time, the streets were too quiet. A car had slowed down near the alley, and somewhere in the dark, someone was getting closer. The shed door creaked in the middle of the night. Sam sat up fast, clutching Noel close to his chest. His heart thudded so loud he could barely hear anything else. But no one came in, only silence. He waited, frozen, staring at the door until morning. He told himself it was just the wind, but deep down he knew it wasn't. Someone had been there, watching, testing the lock. The next morning, as Sam moved through the alley behind a diner, he noticed something strange. A small envelope on the ground, addressed to no one, but clearly placed where he'd see it. Inside was a note, written in shaky handwriting. Asterisk, you don't know who that baby really is, but some people are looking, and they'll do anything to find him. Be careful. Asterisk. Sam's hands trembled as he read the words again. What did it mean? He looked around, but the alley was empty. Suddenly, it felt like he was part of something much bigger than he could understand. Could Noah be in danger? Real danger? Was someone following them, not just out of concern, but for a reason Sam hadn't even considered? Meanwhile, Lena had made a breakthrough. She had found a phone number written in her sister's old notebook, a name, partially scratched out, and a location not far from the repair shop. She didn't know who Sam was, not yet, but she was getting closer. And then, just as Sam was trying to figure out what to do next, a police car slowly rolled past the alley. It didn't stop. It didn't even flash its lights. But the officer inside made direct eye contact with Sam. Not casual, not accidental, the kind that said, "Asterisk, we know." Asterisk. That's when Sam knew he was running out of time. Rain poured as Sam stood outside the city shelter, Noel wrapped tightly in his jacket. He had spent the last of his money on a bus ride across town, following a handwritten address found in the envelope. He didn't know what he was walking into, just that he couldn't run anymore. Someone wanted Noah, and they were getting closer every day. Sam had made his choice. He would protect Noah, even if it meant giving him up to someone who could keep him safe. Inside, a woman was waiting, Lena. She turned the moment they stepped in, and her eyes locked on the baby in Sam's arms. Her breath caught. "No," she whispered, stepping forward, tears already in her eyes. Sam tightened his grip, unsure, overwhelmed. But Lena wasn't a stranger anymore. She pulled out a worn photograph, her sister holding a newborn wrapped in the same patterned blanket. She explained everything. Her sister had been struggling, desperate, and vanished shortly after Noah was born. They had searched everywhere, never knowing the baby had been left behind. Lena had almost given up hope, until the photo online, until Sam. As Lena reached for Noah, Sam hesitated. This baby had become his entire world. But in that moment, he saw something in her, familiar sadness, deep love. Slowly, gently, he handed Noah over. It felt like his chest cracked open. The officers arrived minutes later, not to arrest Sam, but to thank him. The note, the warning, it came from a nurse who'd known Lena's sister and suspected the truth. It had all been part of a quiet effort to reconnect the baby with his family. But just as Sam turned to leave, Lena called out, "Wait, he still needs someone who loved him like you did. Stay." Sam looked back, soaked, exhausted, and heartbroken, but maybe, just maybe, not alone anymore. Sam didn't say anything right away. He just stood there, unsure of what came next. For so long, he'd been surviving day by day, never thinking about a future. But now, for the first time, someone was offering him a place, not just for Noah, but for him too. Lena smiled gently, as if she understood everything he was feeling without him having to say a word. The days that followed were quiet, but different. Sam moved into the shelter for a while, and Lena visited often with Noah. She brought baby clothes, formula, and even books for Sam. Social services had reviewed everything, and after seeing how Sam had cared for Noah, they didn't take him away. Instead, they helped him enroll in school and offered a youth mentorship program to support him. Lena became more than just Noah's aunt. She became a bridge between two lives that were never meant to cross, but somehow did. She didn't try to replace what Sam had with Noah. She respected it, protected it, and even encouraged it. Together, they created something unexpected, a small, messy, but real family. The mystery behind Noah's mother slowly unraveled. She had been struggling with her mental health and had disappeared shortly after leaving the baby. Though her story ended sadly, it brought answers and a strange kind of peace. Sam's life wasn't perfect now. He still had tough days, but he wasn't alone anymore. He had Noah, Lena, and a chance to finally grow up without running. In the end, a boy with nothing gave everything to a baby who had no one. And through that, they both found something they'd been searching for: love, purpose, and a place to belong. Sometimes, the most unexpected moments shape us forever. And this one changed everything.